Since 2008, Marvel Studios has had such an impact on the world. Since then, they've grossed over $25 billion. Dang! All thanks to Kevin Feige, the president of Marvel Studios. They have accumulated millions and millions of fans and have inspired generations, both influencing the movie industry and the media. And since they're owned by Disney, it only makes sense that they have this much popularity and a fan base. But over the years, people have started to notice something. They've started to notice the quality of movies does not meet the quantity of them. Since the release of Disney Plus, Marvel has put out over 9 shows and specials, but correct me if I missed any. Back then, fans would get 2 movies a year, then eventually 3, and those movies, for the most part, would be very good, both expanding the MCU and giving us the fans some exciting scenes and moments. Fast forward to the present day, it feels different. For the last year, maybe a little more, people have started to call out Marvel for their movies not meeting their standards. Is it the fans' fault for expecting too much, or is it Marvel's fault for giving us everything we've ever asked for? Well, in this video, I'm going to try and figure out if Marvel Studios is in trouble. Let's do it. Recently, I saw Black Panther: Wakanda Forever, and of course, I will not spoil it for you, but I will give a spoiler-free review. The movie was awesome. It was very enjoyable. Ryan Coogler did a good job, and the future looks bright for this character. Now, this is all I will say, but you should definitely go watch it. Other than that, the most recently released show Marvel has put out was She-Hulk, and people had their opinions on it, and some people really enjoyed it, and others really hated it. Personally, I thought it was okay. The CGI in the show at times was not the best, but when it was bad, it was bad. The fighting scenes were cool. Seeing Jen struggle with dealing with the She-Hulk persona was interesting, but this show was on the lower side of the MCU shows for me personally. But the problem people had with this show was how they talked about men, and personally, this didn't bother me because, well, it seems like the men that they were making fun of are the ones that just hit on every single girl they see. But I think this show did over-dramatize that just to get a reaction, which they obviously did. But this ties into my first segment. Like I mentioned earlier, the CGI in Marvel projects are not always the best. That doesn't mean that they're bad. Sometimes the storylines are a little iffy. A show that is a very good example of this is WandaVision. When the show first came out, us MCU fans were all blown away, but as time went on and more shows were released, people saw that WandaVision was a little bit underwhelming. Please don't come for me, Wanda stans. This show had amazing visuals. The show had a strong start, but felt a little flat towards the end. A major part of the show that was really big was the Quicksilver cameo, which is something I will get back to a little later in this video. I liked how Wanda showed us into her life, how she was as a kid, and the love she had for Vision. But maybe this show went on for a little too long. The first 2 episodes were a little bit unnecessary, but it's not the worst show. A show that had so much potential but did not deliver at all was Ms. Marvel. Now, I don't agree with all the hate the show received during its run. Something that I found in common with both Ms. Marvel and She-Hulk is that the shows themselves are not the best, but the characters in them are done really well. I like She-Hulk and Ms. Marvel as characters, and I'm excited to see them on the big screen, but the shows do not do them justice in my opinion. Okay, spoilers for the rest of the way here, for any Marvel movies and shows that have been released. Not Black Panther since that one barely dropped. Anyway, something that is kind of being played out by Marvel is the constant cameos. Now don't get me wrong, it's very cool to see heroes and characters we wouldn't expect to see in certain shows or movies, but when you market your movie for this aspect alone, that's when it becomes a little bit of a problem. For example, when Doctor Strange MOM, every trailer would include Charles Xavier's voice over and over again. Now okay, yeah, it's the multiverse, but don't make this appearance the only reason why I should go watch this movie. But of course, the movie was good, and yes, we got some exciting cameos like Mr. Fantastic, fan-casted John Krasinski. But we should watch the movies because we think they're interesting or exciting, not because a character or multiple characters might show up. Also, No Way Home does not count because, like, come on, there's literally no way for you to be mad at all. Get it? Moving on. Then this happened again in Thor: Love and Thunder. It looked like Thor was going to try and fight Gore alongside the Guardians, which would have been pretty cool. That was not the case. The movie was even marketed like it was going to be a Guardians and Thor movie, but instead, they only appeared in the movie for about 15 minutes. A lot of fans did not like how Marvel wasted the Guardians, a group of very lovable characters, and there was already chemistry between them and Thor, so the movie would have been pretty good. It ended up being the worst Marvel movie of this year. Okay, this next part is entirely opinion based, but maybe some of you might agree with me. The movies we've been getting feel a little bit underwhelming because the villains in them do not meet up to the expectations. Let me explain. Remember when the first Black Widow trailer came out and the movie teased Taskmaster? We were all like, let's go, finally, we get to see this character on the big screen. But then when we finally saw the movie, it wasn't really Taskmaster, it was basically a super soldier with an armored suit that copies moves. I had no problem with the gender swap, but I know a lot of people felt like Taskmaster was wasted. Hopefully we get to see more of her in Thunderbolts. Something like her having maybe like a photocopy memory and she can naturally copy people's moves. I don't know. Another great example comes from, again, Thor Love and Thunder. Now, some could argue that this entire movie was a waste, but I wouldn't take it that far. The major problem I had with this was how gore was used in the movie. From the beginning, we see his backstory. But am I the only one who feels like it was rushed, like really rushed? We almost immediately see him from become a worshiper to a god butcher, but it happened just too fast. Then him just killing gods and being evil out of nowhere. I mean, I know it's because of the influence the Necro Sword had on him, but personally, I think if this movie was longer, it would have been much, much better. Christian Bale did an amazing job with gore. It kind of sucks that this is all we'll get from this character. He did amazing. The rest of the movie could not reach his level of acting. You could tell that he was very excited to play this role. Moving on to the hero side of this topic, I want to talk about Hawkeye. I had no problem with this show. I loved how it had that holiday feel to it and how it introduced Kate Bishop. But what I kind of didn't like was the final battle between Kate and Kingpin, aka Wilson Fisk. I'm a fan of Daredevil. I was watching that show when it first came out on Netflix, and Kingpin scared the crap out of me, the way his presence was felt in every scene. But in Hawkeye, he was quickly bested by Kate, who was inexperienced compared to Kingpin in terms of fighting very dangerous people. They kind of made him like a Mario boss, where he attacks, then he gets tired, then boom, time to strike. I mean, this guy went toe-to-toe with Daredevil, a very skilled fighter, and he was holding his own. Now, I know I wasn't the only one who felt like this. Remember that feeling when the first trailer for Captain America Civil War came out, and for the first time in MCU history it was the biggest crossover? The way the characters interacted with each other, it was amazing. Or that time Iron Man put on his suit for the very first time. Does it feel like the best part of Marvel are behind us? Well, personally, I think yes and no. When Infinity War and Endgame came out, it was monumental. The entire world stopped, and we were all living in the moment, watching Endgame and all the payoffs and fan service that was teased up and built over the years. Looking back at those memories, it does put a smile on my face. Will Marvel ever live up to those expectations again? The reaction when Captain America picked up Mjolnir, I mean, Marvel showed signs of this when all three Spider-Man came out together to fight the Sinister Six, but all of this having this feeling of uncertainty has to be given to time, which leads me to my next and final segment. Marvel has a bright future ahead of them, and has the potential to blow all of our minds. After Black Panther, we have so many movies. Let me go through the list. Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania, Guardians Volume 3, The Marvels, Captain America: New World Order, Thunderbolts, Deadpool 3, Fantastic Four, Avengers: Kang Dynasty, Avengers: Secret Wars, and Blade, hopefully. Now this list is very impressive. I am so excited for all of this. Marvel showed us that they still got it with the release of Black Panther: Wakanda Forever, which again is a must watch. But personally, do I think Marvel Studios is in trouble? Not in the movie world, no. They still have those moments and characters that are interesting and are written really well, with intriguing backstories and motives. But in terms of the show side of things, on Disney Plus the lineup includes Guardians of the Galaxy Holiday Special, Secret Invasion, Loki Season 2, Echo, Ironheart, Agatha, Covenant of Chaos, Daredevil, Born Again. Now these shows sound amazing, but in order for Marvel to keep up with the movie quality, they can do it. I mean, I'm not worried about Marvel going anywhere or anything like that. They've already established the blueprint and are an example to show others how to do superhero movies and how to build a cinematic universe. I will always be a fan forever. Thank you guys so much for watching. Please subscribe and like this video. Please check out some of my other videos. Thank you for supporting my channel. It really does mean a lot. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Please leave a comment and let me know your opinion. Do you think Marvel Studios is in trouble? And let me know which Marvel movie is your favorite. I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.